I spent the first few months of 2026 building an AI workforce, and I want to tell you some things that I learned along this journey. Lesson number one is that it is not as easy as people are trying to make it seem, especially if you don't have some foundational understanding of how automation works, of how software and applications work. Um, it's a lot of different moving parts when it comes to AI. It's not just the AI that works. There are going to be some things that you have to pull into it to get it to work. There are going to be some things that break. The AI is going to hallucinate and do whatever the hell it wants. It's going to misunderstand you. And there are some things that you're going to need to know before you get in there and start building. Everybody vibing, we vibe coding. And when I first started, even, and I have working knowledge, a lot of expertise when it comes to automation, but I went into it thinking I was just about to be vibing, vibe coding, and that is not how it works. Like, I was ready to pull my hair out. I was like, they said it was gonna be easy. This is not easy. But I'm not saying that to discourage anyone at all from using AI or going into it with little knowledge. But I want you to have the right expectations when you're going into it, that things are going to break, things are going to happen. You're not going to know it all in the beginning. I think my advice will be to stick with it. You will learn as you go. We're all learning as we go. But it's not as easy as everybody's trying to make it seem. It's not. The second thing that I learned is that strategy overrides a prompt any day. I am a strategist by trade. People trust me to build strategies for them in their teams. So I do have that knowledge as well. But thinking that you're just going to go in with the prompt with nothing else is not the way to go about it. A lot of people start building things and writing copy and emails and things like that, and they don't have a process in mind. They don't have their clients or the person who's on the other, because there are people on the other end of this. When you build it out, there's going to be someone on the other end of it that's going to have to deal with it and work with it. And you want to have those people in mind at the very beginning. You want to have them in mind. You want to know what experience they're going to have in using this application. You're going to want to know what experience they're going to go through, or the process that they're going to go through in using your tool or your automation, right? And without a strategy initially, it's going to be hard to do that. You want to think about the after. I call it the after. After it's done, what happens? What is that person going, once you've completed it and it's done on your end, what is the person on the other end going to experience once you're done with that? And the best way to know that, the best way to anticipate that and know what they're going to go through is to have a strategy in mind. If you have the process in mind, the experience in mind beforehand, it's going to make building for you much easier, and your person on the other end is going to have a much better experience in that. Right? So having a strategy, having a prompt is amazing. Having a good prompt, well thought out prompt is even better, but having a strategy is a game changer when you're working with AI. Speaking of process, the third thing that I learned is that the first iteration, the first final product that you deploy, that you put out to the public, is more than likely not going to be the last. There are always going to be improvements when you're building with AI. There are always going to be there's always going to be better when you're building with AI. And that's why a strategy is important, because you will be able to sometimes account for some of the things that's going to come up later on. But the biggest thing that I would say about iterations, because you're going to have different iterations, you're going to have volume one, volume two, probably and beyond, is that get your first iteration out as soon as possible, as soon as you possibly can. Like, don't rush it, of course, but don't take a lot of time trying to perfect it or trying to put everything in it at once, because it's going to improve over time. So the first one that you put out is probably not going to be the best one. It's probably not going to even be what people need, because what we have in our minds, the thoughts that we have, the strategy and process that we come up with may not always be what the people on the other end need. So getting that first iteration out as soon as possible, whatever it may be, to the public or even to yourself, for yourself. I built a lot of tools initially for myself and for my clients. And I needed to use those tools, that first iteration of the tool or the app or the workforce or whatever, for me to be able to know what I actually needed, what could be thrown out, what could make it better, and all of that. So know that when you first start, when you first go into it, may not be the final product, right? It You may have to go through different iterations. Um, Stick with the program. Know that your first iteration is not going to be your last. And the final lesson that I have for you that I learned, and I don't, this is not really a lesson. This kind of goes back to the first um thing that I talked about, which is not as easy as everyone tries to make it seem. But the pride and the sense of accomplishment and getting it done is really undescribable. If you stick with it, if you plan it out, have a strategy in mind, if you know that your first iteration is not going to be your last, once you do get to a good place in the tools that you built, my first AI agent was a sales team for one of my clients. I built a sales team out for them. And when I got done, because I went into it thinking it was gonna be super easy. I thought that I was just gonna put a prompts in and it was AI was gonna fix my life. And it took me 3 weeks on this one part that I just could not get to save my life. And part of it was because I did not have a strategy around this, because I was going in building blind, because I thought it was gonna be easy. And it took me 3 weeks and I just kept trying, kept trying, kept trying. It wasn't working. It wasn't giving me the output that I wanted. It would hallucinate and just give me whatever it wanted to give me sometimes. But after that was all said and done and I got through the process and got through the project, um, the feeling that I experienced, and I have built a lot of things. I built businesses. I built humans. I'm a mother. But like, it's really the amount of pride that I had when I got done with my first set of agents was just crazy. So I'm saying that to say, if you stick with it and you don't give up and you have a strategy, right? And you understand that there's going to be some improvements made throughout the process, that the feeling of accomplishment that you will have when you are done with whatever AI project, whether it be for yourself or other people around you, is going to be well worth it, is what I'm saying. So that was something else I did not anticipate I was going to experience or feel once I got done because, again, I'm a tech girl. I've been working with automation and all of that for ever and ever. And but this was something different because AI is new to all of us. We're all just getting into this game. And to be able to get into something new and accomplish what I have been able to accomplish was extremely rewarding and fulfilling for me, and I'm sure it'll be the same for you. So, I have a lot more to talk about on this topic, and I look forward to sharing all of it with you and bringing you along on this process as I am building out this this AI workforce and the other tools that I will put out. So, but yeah, stick around and thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye.